And it shows that you are close to the elements of the earth. I can tell now. We're Christians, but I understand that aspect. You know, the earth, the wind, the fire. I understand all that so well because I was someone who was always spiritually curious and hungry and wanted to understand and where did we come from, where are we going to,
Right?
what's the I'm a believer like you that energy moves from one form to the other and has a purpose,
Yeah.
and energy doesn't leave without a purpose. So
Right.
before you can move energy from one form to the other, it needs to fulfill its purpose where it's currently residing. So
Sure.
I do,
I love
I
it.
do understand.
That's
I
what
do
I love so much
understand.
about you guys is that we've got both worlds. Because, like, yeah, we've done the whole Christian thing, Bible study fellowship. Yeah, I'll send you Mars.
Yeah.
so so I do understand. And then when Terry said that he's a Native American, that just like, of you can imagine. I never get enough of the Native American culture and heritage. When I was in New York, yeah, and went in 2018 to New York. Favor and I took a day trip to Washington D.C. and we opted to go to the Native American museum in yes, right there in Washington, as opposed to going to the African American one built by Barack Obama. So,
Wow.
and it's just so much culture and so much depth. And sometimes when you go too deep into the history, you weep. And because as an African who understood slavery, you can relate what it means to be pillaged and the pain that comes from it. But you know what? I always believe that that's why the Native Americans are strong and we understand what's going on around us as how the Africans do as well. You know, like we are very aware of our elements and our spirituality. And that's something that both races have in common because of that pillaging and that pain and suffering.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, and betrayal that's happened over the generations. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk a spiritual journey. Now, there isn't any need for religion. I talk directly to number one. But that doesn't mean that I would put down or think less of anyone who follows a religious movement.
Yeah,
So
sure.
The only time I have any issues is when two things happen. They start pushing their religion on you.
Yeah.
You're right, you're wrong. There is no right or wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when they do harm based on their religion.
Yes.
That's not religion. That's
Yes.
political.
Fanaticism. That's just fanaticism.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even stand fellow Christians who don't have a respect for others. It's the
Right.
same with Wilson and I, and we are very, very, very tolerant. Like my half of my mom's family are Muslims,
Oh, wow.
so
Okay.
so talk about as diverse as
Right.
anyone could be, and then even within the Christianity faith, there are various faiths, and we've got it all. We've got it all, and you just have to respect that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I've just told you about my curiosity about the Native Americans and I also believe in. I also respect people who believe in the what's the word I'm looking for? People who are this is it purists? There's a word for it. There's a faith there's a sect of people who go for purity in itself. Like
Atheism.
no, atheism is not believing in it's not believing in God.
Anything, yeah.
Yes, but there's a set of people who believe in the purity of everything, like the water that falls from the sky and it runs through, how pure it is, like the snow that we're experiencing now, the purity. So that everyone is looking for a sense of a sense of identity
And
in our
belonging.
in our
Sense of belonging
spiritual
as well.
race.
Yeah.
And like you said, there is no right and wrong. Right and wrong is what we've interpreted it to be, and therefore we have to respect others who have walked in that journey.
Right. Absolutely. And when you like really get into like even the Bible, a lot of churches or religions or whatever, they don't teach like how God put an angel with a flaming sword. So like as Adam and Eve were leaving the garden, they were being protected from the tree of eternal life, right? So say they're in this condemned state, then they won't have to live in that condemned state eternally. There's a lot of churches, religions, whatever, that they don't pick up on that. And then Jesus didn't come to make us all Christians. Like,
No,
excuse me?
no,
No.
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. In fact, he had fun. He had fun. He went partying. He went, he mixed with people who were deemed sinners. And he actually was teaching us to break the mold. He was teaching us to identify with the world we're in. He didn't demand, like, if it's just the 3.5 years that he lived, if it's studied properly, a lot of Christians would do things differently as well. I mean, one of my things I love to watch is periodic dramas and sequel, and I just like history and culture. And sometimes when I read how the Catholic faith, the the Pope dominated the world, but not for the right religious reasons, was to just make money and to dominate, the whole Europe and that. You just like, no wonder that a lot of Europeans no longer believe in God. No wonder the French Revolution happened. And it just helps you appreciate the events that have happened over history and why they've happened over history as well. So
well, we're loving watching. I mean, we grew up through the age of Aquarius and the age of Aquarius again. So we're just loving, seeing our youth step into the energy of the new world where everything just is. And they fascinate me. Millennials really fascinate me.
Oh, yes.
And then just favor coming along now.
Their generation is going to do things binary and play with all this artificial intelligence in ways that we haven't even thought about. I tell the kids I mentor, I'm a science and engineering mentor to various groups of kids. And I was talking to some of them this week, and I said, you have to put life in perspective. Whatever you're learning today is going to be outdated in 5 years. And so you never must lose grip of your fundamentals. It's your fundamentals that's going to take you through life, not what you've learned. It's the fundamentals, it's the experience, the people you come across, what you've been able to absorb in the fundamental world that will allow you to morph and recreate yourself. We'll have to, Linda and Terry, we've recreated, even though we're still in this physical body, we've recreated ourselves so many times.
I love you. I love you.
That's vitals. So I'd love to hook you up sometime with her because you would love teaching that to the kids. It's right up your alley.
Yeah, we're not the same people we were yesterday.
No,
absolutely not. Absolutely.
And presence is the point where manifestation becomes action. So whatever you're completely present with, let future and past be gone, and be completely present with yourself. Whatever you're thinking about will come to life.
Yes, sure.
You'll either read it, you'll see it, you'll hear it, or all of a sudden the question is answered in your mind, and you will see it in your mind's eye. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
And people have in a lot of religions have a tough time with the word manifest. It has to mean something from the Bible.
The Bible says manifest. Well, I always say there's no such thing as manifestation. Manifest just means to see what's already there.
Yes. Yes.
It's like the person who goes into the store to buy something and can't find it, and their spouse or friend or whatever walks up and says, well, it's right there. No, it's not. Well, yes, it is. They pick it up and then, boom, there it is.
Yeah.